Good morning, everybody. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Um, Happy birthday to the Marine Corps today. All my fellow Marines out there. It looks like we did a stopgap measure on the government last night to fund some of the benefits. It was a stopgap measure. 8 Democrat senators have voted yes on the presidential or procedural vote for continuing resolution, securing the 60-vote supermajority needed to break the filibuster and advances efforts to end the government shutdown. So, take that for what it's worth. Bipartisan reopening agreement just reached. Senate will to formalize deal expected tonight. At the heart of the deal is a 3-page spending bill, a minibus released by the Senate Appropriate Committee. This covers funding for military constructions, Veterans Affairs, Legislative Branch, Agriculture, along with the Food and Drug Administration. Republicans see as a practical step toward the deadlock attached to the White House passed continuing resolution for a Senate vote expected tonight. So that's a little bit of good news. I hope that includes the SNAP benefits for the people that need it. So once again, rich people messing with people who actually need help. Ring of Fire. Multiple earthquake swarms shake the Pacific Ring of Fire or the west coast of the United States and Mount Fuji at risk. Well, we've talked about this before, that Ring of Fire on the west coast out there. At least 25 earthquakes have struck off the coast of Japan in the last 24 hours, with some reaching strengths of over 6.0. Was it Fukushima? Several years ago was hit by a massive earthquake and dumped a bunch of radiation into the waters there. Turkey issues an arrest warrant for Netanyahu. Pushing Israel relations to the break. When you have countries starting to issue arrest warrants, I know there was one for Trump, and this is not unprecedented. There's always one country pushing for another country to get arrested for something. It's ridiculous. Netanyahu's not going to step foot in Turkey, and Turkey ain't going to go get him. So, despite the U.S.-backed ceasefire in Gaza having held up for weeks at this point, Turkey is once again lashing out at Israel and appears ready to push official relationships to the breaking point. Turkey no longer supported the International Criminal Court, has long supported the ICC, International Criminal Court, warrants against top Israeli officials. I think the ICC is a joke, because we want to just issue warrants for different stuff. Some people we let go, some people we don't. I mean, it's ridiculous. They don't really have a whole lot of power anyway. It's not like they're going to come get it. It's not like they're going to go get Netanyahu and arrest him. They don't have any legal power to do it. But has this week issued warrants of its own seeking the arrest of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and 36 others on charges of genocide. Well, if you want him that bad, go to Israel and get him, which you're clearly not going to do. It named some of the Israel defense ministers, prime ministers, Netanyahu, It's extremely unlikely that Israel leaders would ever travel to Turkey anyway, but this would continue to cause problems and create pressure for regular Israeli tourists. Now that is what it'll affect. Once again, just like we're talking about the government shutdown, it's going to create problems for regular people who ain't got nothing to do with none of it. I'm getting ready. Ignited Church Pastor Faircloth's elderly preaching a great word of faith and encouragement. Let's see here. I'm not watching that. The headline goes like this: scripturally accurate. They're about to announce the fake Christ to the world. Millions will fall for it. A wake-up call. The Bible tells us deception will come dressed in light, and only those who truly know the voice of Jesus will recognize the real one. I don't disagree with that headline, but just something about the way it's written. Pastor Faircloth. No, that's another YouTube video. Our daily devotional day says revealed in our difficulties. And we have a bunch of those. I know I do. And if you admit it to yourself, we all do. Paul's closing words to the Philippians were, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say, rejoice. Philippians 4:4. Now, that's a very powerful statement because we should rejoice in God regardless of what's going on with us. And it's hard. I'm not saying it's not hard. It's hard. But we should. He is not saying, I'm in prison and the chains are a blessing. I am so happy for this pain. No, I'm convinced Paul prayed daily for the release, at times cried out for strength to endure. Absolutely. Even Jesus in our hour of trial and pain cried to the Father, why have you forsaken me? If we're honest, we will acknowledge that our first impulse in our afflictions is to cry out. Why? The Lord wants us to know He has a patience with the cry. To know He is patient with that cry. Yet God has made more provisions so that our what ifs and whys can be answered by His word. Paul writes, knowing that I am appointed for the defense of the gospel Christ has preached, and in this I rejoice. Yes, I will rejoice. 1:17 and 18. The apostle is telling us, I am determined that God's word will be validated by my reaction to this affliction. In fact, Christ is being preached by my calm countenance. By my rest in the midst of all this, everyone who sees me knows that the gospel I preach takes me through these hard times. It proves that the Lord can take anybody through my situation, and my gospel will be preached throughout that experience. That's what he's talking about. We all cry out. But we rejoice in the fact that God's word is being preached, taught, read. An elder in my church named Sam once told me, Pastor David, the way you respond to hard times is a testimony to me. Why did Sam realize this in his life is a sermon to me? He lives with chronic pain that allows him to sleep no more than a few hours each night. Despite his constant, raging pain, his devotion to the Lord is a testimony to us all. Here's the testimony I hear through Paul. Why do you not have to do something great for the Lord? We only have to trust Him. Christ will be revealed in us in all our difficult circumstances. I'm going to leave you with this. How hard is it to be a follower of Christ when everything's going great? Not very hard. How hard is it when everything's going wrong? Shouldn't be any harder. We will go through bad times, we'll go through good times, we ebb, we flow, whatever you want to call it. But some of that is just part of life. But we are to trust Him in everything that we do. Ask for His guidance, His counsel, direction, strength. All that is what we should be asking for. Do we? Sometimes no, sometimes yes. But we should do it every time. Everything that you do, every decision, all of it needs to go through Him. Paul said that I rejoice that the word is being taught, that the word is being preached. That's what we rejoice in. Spreading it. Good times, bad times, doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm sure Paul wasn't having a whole lot of fun being locked up. Big star, being beaten. He was thrown off top of a building for Christ. None of that was fun for Paul. He wasn't having a party about it. But we should still rejoice. Still rejoice. Y'all have a great day. Y'all keep your head on the swivel. Pray, prep, and train, and may God guide your steps.